Have you ever felt that no matter how much you work, money is simply not enough? Maybe you've wondered if there's a way to change your financial situation through faith. If you're currently facing economic difficulties, let me tell you something. You are not alone. Today, Padre Pio has a special message for you. Before revealing this powerful secret that has transformed the lives of thousands of people, I want to tell you something extraordinary. What you are about to hear is not a magic formula or a complicated ritual. It is something so simple yet so powerful that many overlook it. Padre Pio, that saint so dearly loved by all, understood the transformative power of true faith and left us with a special key to unlocking the financial blessings that God has prepared for His children. And before we continue, there is something I need you to understand. This message has reached you for a reason. It is not a coincidence that you are seeing this right now. God works in mysterious ways, and sometimes the answer we seek so desperately is found in the simplest words, in the purest wisdom. Would you like to know what those two words are that can transform your financial reality? Are you ready to receive this revelation that Padre Pio left us as a master key to prosperity? If you feel in your heart that you need a change in your financial life, if you are tired of struggling without seeing results, there is something you must do before discovering these miraculous words. I invite you to write within yourself a declaration of faith. This is the first step toward your transformation. Stay with me, because what you are about to discover will completely change the way you view finances and abundance from a spiritual perspective. Padre Pio not only left us these words, but also a profound lesson about trusting in God and the power of true faith. When we speak of Padre Pio, we are not referring to just any saint. We are talking about a man who deeply understood the connection between sincere faith and the material blessings that God has prepared for us. A humble Capuchin friar who, from his small convent in San Giovanni Rotondo, transformed the lives of millions with his heavenly wisdom. He lived in a time of great economic difficulties in Italy and witnessed daily how entire families struggled to survive, how hard-working parents could not put bread on the table despite their efforts. It was in the midst of this harsh reality that God revealed an extraordinary truth to him about the power of faith in relation to our finances. Padre Pio always insisted on something that many have misunderstood. Poverty is not a virtue when it prevents us from fulfilling our responsibilities and helping others. He perfectly understood that God desires His children to live in abundance, not for wastefulness, but to be channels of blessing. And this is where the profound wisdom we are about to discover comes in. In his writings and spiritual advice, he constantly repeated that the words we speak have extraordinary power. They are not just sounds that come out of our mouths. They are spiritual decrees that can open or close doors in the heavenly realm. When we understand this, we begin to see our declarations of faith in a completely different way. Let me share something that few people know. Every time someone came to Padre Pio desperate due to financial problems, he did not give them money immediately, even if the convent had resources. Instead, he taught them something much more valuable: how to activate the spiritual law of prosperity through faith expressed in words. And here comes the most fascinating part. Testimonies of transformation began to multiply. Business owners on the verge of bankruptcy, single mothers without resources, families drowning in debt. All began to experience inexplicable changes in their finances after applying Padre Pio's teaching. Coincidence? I don't think so. The key lies in understanding that true prosperity begins in the spirit. As Padre Pio used to say, material blessings are merely the visible reflection of a spiritual reality. When we align our words with this truth, something extraordinary begins to happen. I remember the case of a businessman from Guadalajara who was about to declare bankruptcy. His company, built with years of effort, was on the verge of closing. That was when this teaching from Padre Pio about the power of words in prosperity came into his hands. What happened next seems straight out of a book of miracles, but it is as real as you and me. Dear brothers and sisters, when we begin to understand that our words are spiritual seeds, everything changes. Every declaration we make about our finances has the power to manifest. And now I ask you, are you ready to change the way you speak about your economy and start declaring blessings over your life? In the material world, Padre Pio understood a profound truth, and that is why he left us this valuable inheritance that we are about to discover. The two words he revealed to us are so powerful in their simplicity that many doubt their effectiveness. But as he always said, in simplicity lies the greatness of God. These words are, I trust. Yes, brothers and sisters, I trust. They may seem simple, but they hold a transformative power capable of moving financial mountains. Padre Pio discovered this truth one night in deep prayer when a desperate woman arrived at the convent seeking help. Her debts were consuming her, and the bank was threatening to take away her house where she lived with her 3 small children. At that moment, Padre Pio received a divine revelation. The solution was not in borrowing money or seeking immediate material assistance, but in restoring something much deeper: total trust in God's providence. He asked this woman to repeat with unwavering faith every morning and night, especially in moments of greatest distress, I trust. But why are these words so special? Because when we say I trust, we are not merely repeating an empty mantra, but making a spiritual declaration that resonates on 3 levels: in heaven, in our spirit, and in the material world. It is a key that opens doors that no financial strategy can unlock. Padre Pio explained that when we pronounce I trust with true faith, we activate a spiritual law as ancient as time itself. The same law that allowed David to defeat Goliath, that brought down the walls of Jericho, that multiplied the loaves and fishes. It is the law of faith operating in the realm of the material. However, it is not the mechanical repetition of these words that produces the miracle, but rather the attitude of the heart when pronouncing them. When you say I trust, you are simultaneously declaring 3 truths: that God is your provider, that resources will arrive at the perfect moment, and the debt is not your final destiny. Padre Pio insisted that these words should become our automatic response to any financial crisis. If the bills pile up, I trust. If money is not enough, I trust. If debts seem impossible to pay, I trust. It is a declaration of spiritual warfare against scarcity. And here comes something extraordinary. Padre Pio began to notice a pattern in all the testimonies of those who faithfully applied this practice. First, they experienced an inexplicable peace in the midst of their financial storm. Then, they began to see small signs of improvement. Finally, the complete transformation of their economic situation arrived. He taught that these words are like seeds planted in the spiritual garden of our lives. Some will sprout quickly, others will take longer, but all have the potential to bear abundant fruit. The key lies in consistency and faith, regardless of external circumstances. When we say, I trust, we align ourselves with a universal truth that Padre Pio understood perfectly. God is our supreme provider, and his resources are infinite. We are not limited by the global economy, financial crises, or adverse circumstances. Our source is divine and therefore inexhaustible. Now that we know these powerful words, it is essential to understand how to apply them in our daily lives to achieve the results that Padre Pio promised us. It is not just about repeating them, but about creating a complete spiritual method that transforms our financial reality. Padre Pio emphasized that the most appropriate time to say these words is early in the morning, right after waking up, when the mind is free from worries, and at night just before sleeping, when the subconscious is more receptive. In these moments, the spirit is more sensitive to spiritual truths. But before saying "I trust," it is essential to prepare the heart. He insisted on beginning with a moment of gratitude, even in the midst of economic difficulties. Being thankful for what we have, for the air we breathe, for the opportunity of a new day. This attitude of gratitude prepares the spiritual ground so that words of faith can take deep root. When you are ready to say, "I trust," do it with full attention and an open heart. Do not whisper it timidly. Declare it with the authority of a child of God. Padre Pio taught that our words must be spoken with the same certainty with which a child speaks to their loving father. And a crucial aspect that many overlook is the importance of keeping these words active throughout the day. When bills arrive, when you look at your bank account, when you face any difficult situation, repeat it. "I trust." When you find yourself in a difficult financial situation, immediately repeat, "I trust." It is like creating a spiritual shield against financial anxiety and fear. Padre Pio taught us something fundamental about the correct attitude when pronouncing these words. Do not use them as a magical formula expecting instant results, but as a declaration of faith, knowing that you are activating spiritual laws that operate beyond what our eyes can see. Trust in God is not merely the repetition of words, but a total surrender to His providence, a certainty that He never abandons those who trust in His infinite love. But faith is not passive. Padre Pio insisted that faith without works is dead. While declaring, "I trust," remain attentive to the opportunities that God places in your path. Sometimes, the answer to your prayers comes in the form of a business idea, a job offer, or a person who appears at the precise moment. That is why it is essential to combine trust with action. A practical step that Padre Pio recommended is writing these words and placing them in visible places in your home. On the bathroom mirror, on the refrigerator, in your wallet. Every time you see them, repeat them with faith, as this is a way to train your mind to focus on trusting in God rather than on financial worries. However, divine prosperity flows more freely when we keep our hearts pure and our actions aligned with God's will. We cannot expect financial miracles if we are not good stewards of what we already have. Integrity is key. Padre Pio was clear about this. God's blessing manifests in those who act with honesty, generosity, and responsibility. That is why, in addition to declaring our faith, we must strive to live according to the principles that God has taught us. Some people see immediate results when applying this teaching, while others need to persevere longer. The important thing is not when the material manifestation arrives, but maintaining our unshakable declaration of faith. I trust. Nothing prevents us from experiencing the same transformative power in our finances. Padre Pio left us these two words as a master key to opening the doors of divine providence. They are not magic words, but a declaration of faith that can completely change our financial reality. Close your eyes for a moment and think about your current situation. Maybe debts keep you up at night. Maybe you don't know how to pay next month's bills. Maybe your business is going through its most difficult moment. But remember, as long as there is life, there is hope. And as long as there is faith, there is power to transform any situation. Padre Pio always insisted that true faith is not passive. It is active and requires our participation. That is why today I invite you to make a sacred commitment to yourself and to God. From this moment on, every time financial worries try to steal your peace, declare with all your faith, I trust. But don't stop there. Share this message with someone who needs it. Maybe you know a single mother struggling to provide for her children, a friend on the verge of losing their business, or a relative overwhelmed by debt. Share this teaching from Padre Pio with them, because sometimes the greatest blessings come into our lives when we become a channel of blessing for others. And remember something fundamental. The financial transformation you seek is already on its way. In the spiritual realm, your declarations of faith are already bearing fruit. It doesn't matter if you don't see immediate results. Hold on to your trust. As Padre Pio used to say, faith moves mountains, but trust transports them. Before concluding, I want to leave you with one last reflection. True prosperity is not measured only in monetary terms. When you declare, I trust, you are activating a complete transformation in your life. The peace you will experience, the serenity in the midst of the storm, the certainty that God is in control, all of this is part of the miracle. I invite you right now to make your first conscious declaration. Place your hand over your heart and repeat with me, I trust. Feel it, believe it, declare it with all the strength of your spirit. And if you truly desire to see a transformation in your finances, commit to keeping this declaration alive in your heart and on your lips for the next 40 days. Leave your testimony, because your story of faith may be exactly what someone else needs to read to regain hope. If this message has blessed you, share it so that the words of Padre Pio continue transforming lives, opening doors, and restoring trust in the infinite power of God. May the peace of the Lord and the intercession of Padre Pio always be with you. Remember, you are not alone on this journey. God sees your faith, hears your prayers, and knows your needs. Hold firm to your declaration, I trust. The miracle you are waiting for is already on its way.